Being the first graphical adventure game to hit the list, Maniac Mansion is a pinnacle achievement to video games. Released in 1987 by LucasArts for the Commodore and Apple computers, it introduced many new ideas into gaming, notably that of writing and dialogue being the driving factor of a game. I did not see the game until it was released on the NES in 1990, where it received a couple more colors, a beefed up soundtrack, and some overall polishing, but it was still essentially the same game with the same puzzles. The story begins with the introduction of the Edison family house, a huge mansion that has mysterious inhabitants, and you can fill in the blanks how we arrived to the game's title. 20 years ago, a purple meteor crashed down in front of the lawn of the house, which brought about a strange change in the family, who are suspected of kidnapping and doing experiments on local hospital patients. Your motivation comes from the disappearance of a local teenager, Sandy Pants, and you play as Dave, her boyfriend, who saw Sandy being carried off to the Edison mansion. One of the first games to feature multiple playable characters, Dave has recruited a couple college friends, which enables you as the player to select two characters in addition to Dave to help you on your quest to rescue Sandy. Each character is uniquely defined and features a diverse skill set between each other, which allows you to play the game differently each time. This is another featuring characteristic that Maniac Mansion brought to the gaming world. The ability to have multiple endings depending on the characters you choose was a novel idea when Maniac Mansion was released, and we have yet to see this repeated in such an ingenious manner. Another quality that Maniac Mansion pushed boundaries on was the use of cutscenes throughout the game. In such a story-driven game, the cutscenes allowed the player to feel more involved and gave you that extra tidbit of information you may have needed to solve a certain puzzle or gain some insight into each character. Speaking of puzzles, this game has them all, as puzzle solving is the bread and butter mechanic of the point-and-click adventure series that LucasArts has almost perfected in the 15 years of the SCUMM engine's life. The mansion alone is not the only notable horror feature of the game, but the Edison family that lives there. I use the term lives lightly. This is because as you explore the mansion, you see that it contains tentacles, secret lairs, decaying food, and even a nuclear reactor. It is definitely a front for something, and it is slowly revealed to be the living quarters of an evil mastermind. And in this, you have Dr. Fred, the main antagonist of the game. The Edisons embody the prototype for the crazy family, much of what we see in many horror movies. Someone has become troubled because of a certain occurrence in their life, and this quickly spreads to the family, and herein lies the essence of the horror. Being chased out of the house by a deranged nurse or a bully purple tentacle is not only crazy, but unheard of in any other game on this list. What makes this game fun is easily the writing, the setup for jokes, metagame references, and the strong dialogue. Being the first LucasArts adventure game, it sets up the future for a lifetime of references and inside jokes throughout LucasArts games. Can you find Chuck the Plant in every SCUMM game? The puzzle solving isn't as intuitive as it should be, but it is logical nonetheless. The puzzles could be deemed genius, and who could argue? I will admit that I cried out in excitement when I found out the code to the jail cell was the house number shown on the mailbox. Why is this game on the list? Well, the writing may be the defining feature of Maniac Mansion, but it was also the first to do many things. From the crazy family that could kill your characters off, the multiple endings, or just the simple fact that you could befriend a giant tentacle. The themes throughout speak to a horror game. You want to save the cheerleader? But do you have the guts and the brains to do so?